Welcome back to the Kawiki Driver Development Program YouTube channel. I'm Casey Campbell. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have a surprise guest. I think I pulled off and found Justin Mondiek. Of course, we had to get you on because, of course, a former finalist in 2018 and 2019, and of course, this most recent past winner at State Park Speedway, which could potentially be could potentially be the final ASA Midwest Tour race at State Park. Justin, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, we're pretty happy to be on the show. Always been a big part of the Clicky program, I feel like, from years ago. And it's cool to keep the tradition alive for Alan. And I know they reached out, wanted me to do this. And it definitely was an easy yes to help out and keep giving exposure to the program.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the win at State Park. I mean, it's been a while since you won. To be a Deachins Memorial champion 2 times, I can't explain how much. What does that mean to you, Justin?
I guess for us, it's impressive, right? It's very humbling. I'm very honored to be a two-time champion now of that race. The first time that we won it in 2020, I felt like we had a shot. That was kind of the year we really started to win quite a bit. I felt like we were the car to beat that day. Didn't qualify good, didn't get a good starting spot. We had to drive from deeper in the field, but we were able to get it done. It was really rewarding just to get that first Midwest Tour win at home. But there's so much emotion, it's hard to really take it all in because it's your first one, right? So now that 4 years later, we were able to do it a second time. It was more exciting for the team this time. It was more exciting for me. You could definitely take in the moment a lot more and realize how important it was. And it's more satisfying this time around, just knowing um, that we always feel like we should run up front, right? With just the resources we have and the program that we've been able to build together at Justin Mondiek Racing. And it was a really exciting weekend for us.
Okay, so for people that may not know who you are or remember, or it's been a while, kind of remind everybody how you kind of got into racing.
I got into racing back when I was pretty young, back when I was 4 and 5, and got into the kitty cat worlds, small snowmobiles, and then kind of got into go-karts and micro sprints, but everything was always done on the ice. In the wintertime is where we raced at our local track near my house. And I didn't get into stock cars until I was 16. We started out modified 4 cylinders and kind of progressed our way up in limited late models for 1 year, which are now pro late models. And then we've been in super lates from 2016 on. And then that first year in the Quickie program was 2018. I think we finished, I don't know, fourth or fifth, I think, in that year. And then the following year, we had a really good year, did a lot on and off the track in 2019 and ended up finishing second. I know you and I talked just off the call here. Definitely feel like at the time we led that thing all the way like through Oktoberfest all the way to the end. And then we just lost it at the end. It just seemed like the course of the program kind of changed throughout the year. I felt like we should have had it, but still really honored to be a part of the program. And definitely it's helped me in a lot of other ways.
So, going back to, we were going to get to that later, but I might as well, since you mentioned it, going back to that time, what was that like why did you feel like you wanted to be like part of this program?
It was just always really important just because I knew Alan's legacy in racing and how important and unique it was, right? And it kind of fit the mold of what I was trying to do. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I was going to school at the time. I'm an owner operator at JMR. So it was a similar path, right? But then also the financial aspect of adding to the program of what the 7 drivers get and just the national recognition of what you get with being in the program and the chance to win quite a bit of money at the end of the year. But it was all about promoting Alan. The final year that I was in it, that was the year that he finally was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So that was really cool to be a part of. That was the whole push, right, for the program to get him into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Once he finally got in, it's cool to see that they've continued the program on to continue the legacy.
Absolutely. So, you actually did something in preparing this interview for this interview. I was talking to the executive director at Tom Roberts, and or as well known as TR, and he was telling me about the time where you rented out the theater and showed the AK movie, and actually got the one of the actors from the movie to come in, and from California to come in and to be a part of it. So what do you remember about that?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience for us. I mean, that year, the second year I was in it, the focus from the board was really off track exposure is what they were going for that year. They knew that Allen was going to be in the running to get into the NASCAR Hall of Fame that year. So the off track exposure for Allen was extremely important that year. So we had a good year on the track. We had 5 wins that year. But we really focused our efforts off the track just with the direction of what the board was telling us. I mean, we did 4 to 5 events per week all year, everything from charities to Humane Society, you name it, we did it. So we really tried to think outside the box with it. We came up with screening this Allen movie, right? That was a hit, and reached out to the actor, and he was more than happy to fly in for us to be a part of it. So we had our Alan Quickie tribute car there, right, parked at our local theater in Merrill, Wisconsin, and had the car there on display. And a ton of people came for the showing, and it was just a really cool event. And it was a really good night.
Yeah. Let's talk about the success that you've had just over your career. It's like, I know you've been in the Midwest tour for quite a bit of time, and I know you were talking with Trado and Dean Strom on Midwest Tour Live, and I think they were talking about the longevity that you've had in that series. What makes you, when you run all these races and stuff, did you think that you'd be running all like the races like the past 6 years?
Not necessarily. I just when we were in the Clicky program, goal was to run as many races as we possibly could, right? Because then that would get you a larger sample size to hopefully win more races, which was also important to the program. So we ever since 2020 and beyond, we were close to 40 races a year, and I was able to secure the partnerships and funding to be able to fund that throughout the year. It takes a lot of effort, as you know, behind the scenes, getting all those moving parts put together. But we've always been a part of the Midwest Tour since 17 or 18. That was a big push in the Quickie program. We wanted to show them that we were running at a higher level than others in the program at the time. Just bigger competition, bigger car counts, you name it, right? And we've just always stuck with the Midwest Tour. We like the promoters, we like how they run the races, we like the competition level, and then the variety of racetracks that we're able to go. So we've just never really stopped it. Our partners have been enjoying it every single time. Been able to bring on some new partnerships because of it as well. And it's when I heard we have like 67 or 68 consecutive starts, like we have the most consecutive starts, it's like, geez, I feel like they're like calling me a veteran in the Midwest Tour. It's like I don't even feel that old. So it's pretty crazy that we've been a part of it that long, but we've always enjoyed it.
So how far away are you from State Park Speedway?
Just about 30 minutes.
So to know that, how many, I probably can't even tell. What do you remember the first time you ever went there?
Yeah, I do. The first time, first time I ever went there, family friend had brought us at the time. And said kind of like if you ever want to do anything in the stock car world or in racing in general to get your name out, you need to get in asphalt racing. So we started to kind of go to some of the races just as a fan, and you look at the cars and didn't really have a clue, right, of like what it took to get there or anything involved with that, but kind of started out in 4 cylinders and here we are today. But I just remember going and looking at the super late models and just like, man, I want to get there someday, right? And you just want to be a part of the group and be out there racing, and pretty happy that what we've been able to build in a short amount of time.
Yeah. How old were you at the time when you first went there?
When I was first at State Park Speedway, probably would have been when I was 14 or 15, right? Because all the years prior, we just did the ice oval stuff near our house with go-karts and micro sprints and snowmobiles. And that was our life at the time, and didn't really know a whole lot else. And started just going to State Park as a fan. And then I wanted to get more involved. And it's a different element, right? Because I'm a first generation stock car driver. So we definitely started from square one and had a lot of humbling experiences along the way to get to where we are today.
To be I know you've had a lot of success as you've gotten to win a lot of win in a lot of places, win some track championships. To win, I believe it's 3 state park speedway championships.
Yeah,
Um,
we have 3 at State Park Speedway in a row, and then we had 2 at Golden Sand Speedway and Plover in a row. Then we won track championship at Norway Speedway, and then one with the Tundra Super Late Model Series.
yeah. So to win 3 state park speedway championships in a row, and obviously, who knows what the future of this place is going to be. This is the last year of State Park Speedway. What's that? Is it going to be, when you climbed out of the car and to win the final Deachins, what was what was it like to climb out there? It's like, man, I might be doing this for the final time here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can look at it both way. Thankfully, when I've won, I haven't really thought about it that it's the last, right? You're trying to like live in the moment, and you're definitely gonna miss it when it's gone. But to be a 3 time in a row, it would have been nice to win it last year to get 4, and then hopefully 5 this year to close it out. Um, but ever since they did the repave last year, all our information and our setups have completely changed. Everything we did there for the last 5 years, you might as well throw out. It's way different. It's a different style of racing now. So we really had to reinvent the wheel. We ended up losing the championship last year. We took second points, and we're currently leading right now with 2 races to go, but it's a really, really tight points battle. But just kind of taking one race at a time, taking everything in, trying to keep the emotion out of it and just focus and try to get our business done.
So you mentioned the word business, and obviously it takes a lot of them to make this thing go. And I know you are very active with a lot of your partners. Talk about some of the things that you've been able to do with them, over time in your racing career.
It takes a lot of work, right? You have the business A that truly wants an ROI for their investment, right? And we have to get creative and prove that. And then you have company B that really doesn't care. They just want to do it because they like racing or they like me or they want to be a part of something, right? And then you might have individual C that just gives you money off the cuff, same thing, just because they want to be a part of something. So we really deal all our partnerships specific to the partner and really what they're looking for. And that kind of determines all year as far as what we do with them, right? Whether they come to the racetrack with us a lot, we do off track charity events. We do live remotes, radio station remotes with cars at their businesses or social media ads or social media content. It's just really specific to what the company is looking for and what type of return on investment they're looking for.
Yeah. And then also on top of that, you also have you also have a day job as well, kind of. And then that, of course, it's also if you look currently behind you, it looks like a hotel room. That's because it is.
Yeah.
Of course, you're out on a business trip yourself this week.
Yeah. I'm traveling this week for a project out in Nebraska that we're doing. So where I work, my primary partner, Ager Industries, been there for a little over 10 years, and I'm a mechanical project engineer with them. So we supply anything in the agricultural world. So conveyance systems, anything in the seed world, feed, biomass, hemp, frac sand, structural steel, anything we can engineer, fabricate, and install, all at our Central Wisconsin Merrill facility. So project that I'm at right now, I started in February and followed it all the way to 3D conceptual design and progressed that through our fabrication division. And now we're at the construction phase. So just coming out to kind of get my final seal of approval on it before we complete it.
Yeah. Um, to what will what will it be like to know when have you thought about the last race you'll ever run at State Park?
Haven't quite yet. There's 2 more for sure. There's 2 more points races, which both nights coming up. August 15th is Bremen Merrill Ford night presented by Sawmill Brewing Company. Those are both of my partners. We were able to bring more partnership to the track this year, and sponsor the track as a whole rather than just Justin Mondiek Racing. And then the last night of the year, championship night, is August 22nd. That's going to be Ager Industries night. My primary partner, presented by Air Gas, also another one of my partners. So we have pretty busy last couple nights. Hopefully we're able to wrap the championship up because the place will be packed and party deck will be busy. But there's another race, I think August 24th. It's the Phil Bickley race, the legend race. All the big money for the legends. Sounds like super lates are gonna run. Not quite sure what the payout looks like. It's not going to be a points race. They're talking possibly no rules for that and all that. So if that's the case, we're probably not going to be there just because we're going to be racing Madison the following night after the 22nd. If they go with no rules, you're going to have to change so much stuff. It's not really worth it. So I'm hoping they just continue it as a 4 tire night, just one last special, business as usual. And if that's the case, I'm sure we'll be there. But so definitely 2 more races for sure, probably a third, but that's about it. But I'm just hoping and praying something's going to change, but we'll just keep taking it week by week and enjoy what we can.
Absolutely. All right. I figured we need to get to know you a little bit, Justin, outside of racing. How about that? So
Sounds good.
go. Okay. Do you have any racing superstitions?
Racing superstitions, man, I don't know. I know I always had a green car for years. Always with Agri Industries, right? Because that's our company colors. And everybody's like, oh, you can't have a green car because that's bad luck in racing. And I don't know. I mean, we ran that for a couple years. We still won races, but ever since we switched to the blue for Aqua Finance at the time, one of my partners, it's been really good. And now we switched to orange for them as well because they transitioned to an orange theme as a company. And I don't know. I guess that'd be really the only superstition. I'm always really cautious, I guess, and of what I do like before a feature, I guess I try to do the same things and try to prepare and make sure everything's prepared throughout the week the same. And I just try to be extremely organized and most prepared we can.
Absolutely. What's the okay? What's your favorite thing to do outside of racing, outside of work?
Favorites, I would say the favorite thing outside of work would be racing, like you said. But other than that, just spending time with my fiance and her little girl and time with my grandma and my parents and just a lot of family time. We do a lot at our cottage and just relaxation that way. But I'm able to have quite a bit of hunting land and I'm big into trail cameras. And so I do quite a bit of whitetail hunting, whether it's rifle or bow hunting. So that's kind of my off season time of what I like to do. Also
There's a
snowmobiling, but we haven't been able to have a lot of snow these last 2 years. But
yeah.
so I would say, spending time with family and doing quite a bit of hunting whenever I can.
Okay. Is there a track you've always wanted to win at that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
That's a good question. I was on the Racing Nuggets podcast yesterday, and PJ had asked what my favorite racetrack was, and I didn't really have a good answer. It was kind of like whichever one, I guess, for doing the best at the moment, right?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of tracks I don't necessarily like, but you don't really do the best at them. But I would say just getting our next Midwest Tour win at any other track other than Wausau would be important, right? I've always wanted to win at Madison, let's say, or Grundy. I know we were really close this year at the Rattler at South Alabama Speedway. So I think just continuing to be proactive and competitive on a larger super late model scale and see where that takes us.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned, I might as well mention this too. What's it like working with Toby?
What's it? That's a good question. I get that question often because when you look at him, it's like half the time he's got a ripped shirt or you name it or dirty. Like you would never think like who he is that he knows what he does, right? And there's a lot of times where we just throw stuff at the car and there's no rhyme or reason, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I'll ask, like, you sure you really want to do this? Because my engineering brain, it doesn't really make like sense that it's going to work, and I'll just try it and then it ends up working out. So I don't know if it's a lot of trial and error and luck, but there's a lot of engineering and knowledge of 40 plus years in racing that he has. So it's just been really cool. It's not really been just a crew chief aspect with him, right? He's really become a part of our family. We've been with him now for 6 or 7 years. So he's really become a part of our family. We talk quite a bit throughout the week and bounce each other, ideas off of each other as far as, what's going on with Ty or what's going on with us. We try to make each other better in the long run.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the wonders of what Toby can do from all the from from talking with Levon all those times. So And
Yeah.
okay, and finally, let's end it on this. What is something people don't know about you? Like, what's an interesting fact people may not know about you?
Hmm. Interesting fact. I guess I would say hmm, that's a good question. You got caught me off guard on that one. I would say what people don't know about me is just I think there's a stigma out there as far as like, it's like we're a larger team now, but people don't realize like how much I do behind the scenes, right, to make it all work. They just think it's like, oh, we come from money and that's why we win, but people don't realize how hard I'm busting it all times of the year to try to find partnerships. And I'm an owner driver, as you and TR know, that's why I was in the Quickie program. But I don't think people realize like truly how hard I've worked to get to where I am and how much work I'm continuing to do to stay where I'm at and progress our program forward.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Justin Mondiek, thank you so much for the time. As always, congrats on your big win at State Park. Enjoy and cherish those final few races that you have there. And then best of luck at WIR next Tuesday.
Thank you. Looking forward to the Dixieland and hopefully we can continue and win on out at State Park Speedway. That'd be pretty cool. But extremely honored to be a part of the Quickie program and get 2 wins so far at State Park this year in the final year. And hopefully we can get a few more before it's done.